Hi, my name is Paul Pasulka, Ivy Masters Learning Center and ivymasters.com. Today we're going to look at Test 1, Section 4, number 20, which reads, Alma bought a laptop computer at a store that gave a 20% discount off its regular price. The total amount she paid to the cashier was $P, including an 8% sales tax on the discounted price. Which of the following represents the original price of the computer in terms of P? So what you might do is, if in terms of screws you up, just cross it out. It's asking for the original price. If you're doing it algebraically, you got to get the original price alone. We're solving for the original price. That's the important thing that you need to know. This cuts off a bit, so you could see answer choice D down there is P over 0.8 times 1.08. And we're going to do this two different ways. One thing is, whenever you've got variables in the answer choices, you could pick numbers. And that's the way we're going to do it, because very few students will think of and do this like an algebra problem. But really doing it algebraically is a much quicker, cleaner way. So if you were doing this algebraically and picking numbers, two things that you want to keep in mind. Number one, if it's a percent problem, what's the best number to pick? Best number to pick is 100, because if something's $100, it doesn't tell you what the original price is. We're going to make the original price $100. If it's $100, let's say it increased 20%, now it's $120. Here it says it's a 20% discount, so we know it's $80. In other words, when you pick 100 for your amount, then the percent increase or decrease matches the dollar increase or decrease. But one thing that you should know is that if you're decreasing 20%, you're paying for 80% of something. So if you get any number besides 100 that you have to work with, instead of, most students will multiply by 0.2 and then subtract from the original, you could do it in one step by multiplying by 0.8. So again, if you have a 20% discount, you take 80% of it. So you multiply by 0.8, you get $80. Now, it says that she has an 8% sales tax. So now it's going to increase by 8%. If you increase by 8%, you'd multiply by 1 plus the decimal equivalent of the percent. So an increase of 8% would be multiplied by 1.08. An increase by 80% would be multiplied by 1.8. So either way, I'm going to put the 1.08 on top. And by the way, this is with calc math. You could just use your calculator, plug it in. But if you have no calc math, these are all good things for you to know. You'd never have to make a row of zeros there. Just make one zero. That accounts for the 0 and the 80. And now you just multiply 8 times 8, 64, and you have your answer, $86.40. Now, what it tells you is that the total amount she paid to the cashier was P dollars. So your P equals 86.4. Now, if you notice, each answer choice has a P in it. So you're going to replace each of those P's with 86.4. You might know that multiplying by 0.88 is going to make something smaller. If you multiply by anything between 0 and 1, you're going to make the other value smaller. So there's really no reason to check A if you notice that. And if we look at answer choice C, remember 0.8 is decreasing 20% times 1.08 is increasing 8%. If you're decreasing 20% and increasing 8%, your decrease is more than your increase. That's going to give you a smaller value as well. What we need is the answer to the question, which of the following represents the original price. Remember, our original price was $100, so we know we have the right answer when we plug 86.4 into the answer choices, and we get 100. So now you could use your calculator. Let's say I plug this 86.4 over 0.88. What I get in my original is I wind up with, with answer choice B, I wind up with $98.18. So it looks like that's not the correct answer. If instead I plug in to answer choice D, one thing I want to bring to your attention, TI-34, probably the most user-friendly calculator I've ever found on the market. So if you're not calculator savvy, you might use this. TI-84. If you are calculator savvy, you could even search a YouTube video, calculator hacks for the SAT. You have a system of equations. Never fear, just plug it in here. You don't even have to do it, and it could give you the answer to a system of equations. There's one button that I want to show you guys here, which is the N over D button. It's right on the face of the calculator for the TI-34. And for the TI-84, it's a little more complicated. You got to go looking for it a little bit. So if you were to go to hit the math button on the left and then go right to NUM and then go up to N over D, hit N over D. And I always recommend using that button anytime you have more than one thing going on in the top or the bottom of the fraction. Why? Because students tend to use the division bar, and the calculator will always follow the order of operations. And a lot of times you wind up screwing it up by plugging it into your calculator wrong, even though you know exactly how to do it. So I'm going to plug into answer choice D exactly as it looks. In place of D on the top, I'm going to put 86.4, and on the bottom, I'm going to put exactly how it looks, 0.8 in parentheses next to 1.08 in parentheses. And then I just hit enter, and voila, I get 100. That answered my question. It's exactly what I was looking for, the original price 100. Now, we're going to look at method 2. So there's your answer choice D, in case you can't see it. Now we're going to do method number 2, which is, like I said, the algebraic solution, which is easier, but most students will not think of this. So let's say x equals the original price. What you do is you're going to take that original price, and if you decrease it 20%, you multiply by 0.8. If you increase it 8%, you multiply by 1.08. And that's going to give you your P. Remember, P is the amount she paid. Since the question asks for the original price, all you have to do is divide both sides by 0.8, divide both sides by 1.08. Oh, that's terrible. Cancels here, and you get your answer. Your original, which is your x, is going to equal P over 0.8 times 1.08, which once again is answer choice D. Thank you for joining us today. If you like this video, click like. You could share it with someone who has trouble with percent problems or when there are variables in the answer choices. If you'd like to see any question from any official PSAT or SAT or ACT, leave it in the comments. I'd be happy to shoot a video on it. And click subscribe so you don't miss anything. Have a great day.